Ah, the spotlight's flickering. It must be time for another tale to tell. What if I told you that the most classified document in CIA history wasn't about foreign agents or nuclear secrets, but about how to escape reality itself? Welcome to Twisted Tales Theater. I'm Raven, your ever faithful, ever curious host, here to guide you through another fascinating descent into mystery, madness, and maybe a little truth. So sit back, adjust your signal, and remember, Noni is leaving this theater. Picture this, my dear listeners. The year is 1983. The Cold War rages. America's military minds are obsessed with creating the perfect soldier. Stronger, faster, deadlier. They've experimented with performance drugs, mind control, even genetic manipulation. But what if I told you they discovered something far more extraordinary? A way to send soldiers anywhere in the universe without ever leaving their chairs. Lieutenant Colonel Wayne McDonald submitted a report so disturbing, so reality-shattering, that the CIA immediately stamped it classified. 30 pages that claimed our entire universe is a lie. That with the right training, anyone, yes, even you, darling, could step outside existence itself and see what's really pulling the strings. They called it the gateway process, and it promised to turn ordinary humans into gods. Oh, but here's the delicious irony. They couldn't keep it secret forever. The truth has a way of seeping through the cracks, doesn't it? Like blood through bandage. And now, decades later, we know exactly how they planned to break reality. The question is, do you have the courage to follow their instructions? Before we dive into this rabbit hole together, tap that like button if you're ready to question everything you think you know about existence. Because once you hear what Colonel McDonald discovered, there's no going back to your comfortable little illusion of solid matter and linear time. The Gateway Report begins with a warning disguised as science. McDonald knew his audience, hardened military minds, who'd sooner believe in tactical nukes than transcendental meditation. So he wrapped his cosmic revelation in the language of physics and neuroscience, quantum mechanics, holographic theory, brainwave, but strip away the academic jargon. And McDonald's message is terrifyingly simple. Everything you see, touch, taste, and feel is a hallucination. Your coffee cup doesn't exist. Your chair is made of nothing. Even your precious flesh and blood body is just energy vibrating fast enough to fool your senses. How wonderfully absurd, don't you think? Humanity spends millennia building civilizations on the assumption that reality is real, only to discover we're living inside our own collective dream. McDonald consults with Itzhak Bentov, a respected biomedical engineer, to explain how human consciousness operates like a radio tuner. We're locked onto one frequency, the frequency that creates what we call normal reality. But just like your radio can sway stations, your brain can tune into other dimensions, other realities, other points in time. The gateway process teaches you how to change the channel. But wait, it gets better, or worse, depending on your perspective. McDonald reveals that some maverick at the Monroe Institute in Virginia had already figured this out. A broadcasting executive named Robert Monroe, who accidentally stumbled into an out-of-body experience while experimenting with sleep learning. One night, Monroe's playing with sound frequencies when suddenly, paralysis, then vibrations, then blinding white light and a roar so loud it threatened to tear his sanity apart. When the chaos stopped, he found himself floating above his sleeping body, staring down at his own peaceful face. Imagine the existential terror, my dears. One moment, you're Robert Monroe, solid citizen of consensus reality. The next, you're a disembodied consciousness watching your meat puppet sleep. Would you scream, pray, or would you do what Monroe did? Spend the next 6 weeks figuring out how to do it again. The man was either brilliantly curious or magnificently insane. Possibly both. If you're finding this story as deliciously unhinged as I am, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on, because we're just getting started. And trust me, you won't want to miss where this goes next. Monroe discovered that these out-of-body experiences weren't random accidents. They could be triggered using specific sound patterns called binaural beats. Play one frequency in your left ear, a slightly different frequency in your right ear, and your brain creates a third frequency. The difference between them. This technique, called hemisync, synchronizes the left and right hemispheres of your brain. Your logical left brain stops filtering information. Your creative right brain opens wide to receive whatever cosmic data comes flooding in. It's like hypnosis, But instead of making you cluck like a chicken, it makes you question the fundamental nature of existence. Colonel McDonald describes it beautifully and terrifyingly. He says the natural human mind is like a lamp, casting chaotic light in all directions. But hemisync transforms your consciousness into a laser-focused, coherent, powerful enough to cut through the veil between dimensions. Now, here's where McDonald's report takes a turn from merely impossible to absolutely reality. He explains that as your brainwaves speed up through him, they can accelerate beyond what physics calls the Planck distance, the smallest possible unit of length in our universe. At that point, your consciousness doesn't just leave your body. It clicks out of space-time entirely and joins something McDonald calls the absolute. What's the absolute, you ask? Or just the conscious energy field that created everything? You know, God, the source code of reality itself. According to McDonald, we're all fragments of this cosmic consciousness, temporarily pretending to be separate individuals so we can gather experiences and learn lessons. When we die, we return to the absolute, contributing our lifetime of memories to the collective. It's like a cosmic library, where every human life is a book on the shelf. But here's the truly disturbing part. Advanced gateway practitioners don't have to wait for death. They can visit the absolute anytime they want. They can access the cosmic library, browse through the experiences of every human who ever lived, and even peek ahead at potential futures. They'd become living gods with access to all knowledge, all time, all space. Drop a comment below and tell me, if you could access the cosmic library of human experience, whose memories would you want to explore first? A pharaoh's, Einstein's, or would you be brave enough to see your own future? But McDonald's report contains an even more shocking revelation. Not only can gateway practitioners visit other dimensions, they can change our reality through something called patterning. Since consciousness creates reality, focused intention can literally reshape the world around us. Think about that for a moment. If McDonald is right, then sufficiently trained individuals could manifest anything they desire, simply by willing it into existence. Wealth, power, love, even immortality, all achievable through focused consciousness manipulation. It's the ultimate cheat code for reality, and the US military wanted to weaponize it. Now, you might be wondering, if this gateway process is so revolutionary, why isn't everyone doing it? Why aren't we living in a world of psychic super soldiers and reality-bending mystics? Well, my curious listeners, here's where our story takes a delightfully sinister turn. McDonald's report ends with a warning that nobody expected. He tells the military they should be prepared for encounters with intelligent and non-friendly entities that exist outside our space and time. In other words, there are things living in those other dimensions, things that might not appreciate humans poking around in their cosmic neighborhood. The implication is chilling. What if the gateway process doesn't just let us visit other realities? What if it advertises our presence to beings that have been watching us from the shadows of existence? What if escaping our reality makes us visible to predators we never knew existed? McDonald essentially warned the military, you can become gods, but gods have enemies. Did someone just turn down the lights in here? Or is that just my imagination? If you're feeling that delicious chill running down your spine, smash that like button, because we're about to discuss the most disturbing part of this entire story, the missing page. The CIA released McDonald's gateway report to the public with one page missing. Page 25, right at the climax where McDonald explains the true nature of the absolute and our purpose in this cosmic game. For decades, researchers demanded the CIA release the complete document. The agency insisted they never had page 25. It was lost, they claimed. Gone forever. Just a bureaucratic accident. Nothing to see here. But in 2021, the Monroe Institute, the same organization that developed the gateway process, quietly released the complete report, including the mysterious missing page. What was on that page that the CIA didn't want us to see? Oh, just McDonald's conclusion that all religions point to the same truth, that every human culture has glimpsed the cosmic reality he's describing, and that the gateway process could unite humanity by revealing our fundamental interconnectedness. A message of peace and unity. How very inconvenient for an intelligence agency, don't you think? The missing page reveals McDonald's belief that ancient mystics understood these truths intuitively, that every spiritual tradition throughout history has been trying to teach us what the gateway process proves scientifically. We are all one consciousness experiencing itself subjectively. But there's something else on that page. Something that makes McDonald's warning about non-friendly entities even more disturbing. He suggests that as more humans learn to access these higher dimensions, we may encounter intelligences that have been manipulating our reality from behind the scenes. What if our entire history, our wars, our progress, our struggles, has been guided by entities that exist outside our perception? What if the gateway process doesn't just let us escape the matrix, but alerts the architects that we're trying to break free? Make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell, because this story connects to so many other mysteries we've explored. The government's decades-long obsession with consciousness manipulation, the strange prevalence of ancient symbols in modern institutions, the consistent suppression of technologies that could fundamentally alter human awareness. It's all connected, my dears, and the gateway process might be the key that unlocks everything. But here's what really keeps me awake at night, tossing and turning in my vintage four-poster bed. Colonel McDonald is still alive. He's in his 80s now, long retired from military service, and as far as anyone can tell, he never wrote about the gateway process again. Never gave interviews, never expanded on his revolutionary discoveries, never shared whether he personally tried the techniques he researched so thoroughly. Why the silence? Did he experience something so profound, so terrifying, that he decided humanity wasn't ready for the truth? Or is he still bound by classification levels that go deeper than anything the public has ever seen? I would love to sit down with Colonel McDonald over a nice cup of tea, perhaps something with a hint of hemlock fall flavor, and ask him the questions that haunt me. Does he fear death, knowing what he knows about consciousness and the absolute? Has he actually visited these other dimensions? And most importantly, what did he see there that made him go quiet for the rest of his life? Here's the beautiful, terrible irony of the gateway process. It promises to reveal that science and spirituality are describing the same fundamental reality, that God and quantum physics are just different languages for the same cosmic truth. For those who believe in science, it offers evidence of realms beyond matter and energy. For those who believe in God, it provides a technological path to divine experience. It's the ultimate bridge between faith and reason, mysticism and materialism. And that, my dears, might be exactly why it terrifies the powers that be. What if you could prove the existence of God using reproducible scientific methods? What if you could demonstrate that consciousness survives death, that all humans are connected, that reality itself is malleable? Such knowledge would fundamentally transform human civilization. Religious institutions would crumble. Scientific materialism would collapse. The entire power structure of our world, built on scarcity, separation, and the fear of death, would become obsolete overnight. No wonder the CIA classified it. No wonder Colonel McDonald went silent. No wonder the missing page disappeared for 40 years. The gateway process isn't just about military intelligence gathering. It's about the intelligence that governs reality itself. But here's the thing that should really disturb you, my faithful listeners. The gateway process isn't some exotic technology requiring million-dollar equipment or years of training. According to McDonald's report, anyone can learn it. You just need headphones, some basic relaxation techniques, and the willingness to question everything you've ever believed about the nature of existence. The Monroe Institute still offers gateway programs. You can sign up online, spend a week in Virginia, and potentially return home with the ability to project your consciousness across space and time, to visit other dimensions, to access the cosmic library of all human experience, to become, in essence, a god among mortals. The question is, would you dare? Because here's what McDonald's report doesn't tell you. Here's the whispered warning that echoes through the halls of consciousness research. Some students of the gateway process report profound spiritual awakening, enhanced creativity, and life-changing insights. Others report anxiety, depression, and in rare cases, complete psychological breakdown. When you tear down the barriers between dimensions, you invite in everything that lives beyond those barriers. And not all of it is friendly. Not all of it has humanity's best interests at heart. The gateway process might offer you godlike powers, but gods have responsibilities and enemies, and prices to pay. That mortgage, the soul itself. Comment below and tell me honestly, if you could learn the gateway process, would you risk your sanity, your connection to consensus reality, your very sense of self, for a chance to see behind the cosmic curtain? Or are you wise enough to leave some doors locked? As our time together draws to a close, I want you to consider something deeply unsettling. If McDonald's report is accurate, if reality truly is a holographic projection of consciousness, then everything we've discussed tonight already exists in your mind. The gateway process, the missing page, the warning about non-friendly entities, Colonel McDonald's decades of silence. It's all there, encoded in the quantum field of your awareness, waiting to be accessed by anyone with the right frequency, the right focus, the right willingness to abandon the comfortable lie of separate existence. Perhaps you've always known these truths. Perhaps every human carries the cosmic memory of what we really are, where we really came from, and why we're really here. The gateway process might not teach us something new. It might simply help us remember what we chose to forget when we agreed to play this game of individual consciousness. And if that's true, then the real question isn't whether the gateway process works. The real question is whether we're ready to stop playing the game, whether we're ready to wake up from the dream of separation and remember that we are the dreamers. The signal is fading now, my dear listeners. Our transmission grows weak. But before the darkness takes me back to wherever shadows dwell between broadcasts, remember this: reality is not what you think it is. Your mind is not what you think it is. And you are far more than you could possibly imagine. The gateway process is real. The documents exist. The techniques are available. And somewhere in the quantum foam of infinite possibility, Colonel McDonald's consciousness drifts between dimensions, holding secrets that could reshape human destiny. The only question that remains is whether you have the courage to seek him out. In the spaces between spaces, in the silence between thoughts, in the gateway that opens only for those willing to sacrifice everything they think they know about existence itself. Sweet dreams, my dears, and remember, some doors, once opened, can never be closed.